This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we need to discuss HANA migration. Okay, what is HANA migration? Because most of the projects and most of the customers now they are migrating their database to HANA because of SAP's deadline and all. What we need to understand here is what is the prerequisite to do HANA migration? Can we migrate to HANA database from any database, from any version? That we need to understand? For example, if we have ECC5 or version 3.0 or version 4.7c, can we migrate to HANA database? So the answer is no. If we want to migrate to HANA database, it should be ECC6 EHP7. If we want to migrate our database to HANA, the minimum version should be ECC6 EHP7. If our system is ECC5 or version 3.0 or version 4.7c is something else, we should migrate it to, we should upgrade it to ECC6 EHP7. First, we should upgrade it to ECC6 EHP7. Then only we can migrate to HANA database. For example, if we have any SAP business suite, we should upgrade that business suite to ECC6 EHP7. We should upgradation we should done because then only we can migrate to HANA database. And also once we upgrade our system to ECC6 EHP7, automatically our NetWeaver ABAP version is also upgraded into NetWeaver ABAP 7.4. Then if we have any database, we can migrate to HANA database. So to migrate any database to HANA database, the prerequisite is our version should be ECC6 EHP7 and NetWeaver ABAP version is 7.4. Then we can migrate our database to HANA database. Here the point is, once we migrated to HANA database, what is the job of ABAPer or a functional consultant? As an ABAPer, we should check all the custom code. Custom code in the sense, whatever programs we developed, whatever objects we develop, like smart form, workflows, BADI, BAPI, whatever objects are developed, and also customer exit, implicit enhancement, explicit enhancement, whatever the custom code, that should be checked by ABAPers. Why? Because, for example, we have a cluster table BSEC. If you want to select data or insert data, you write export import statement. Once it is migrated to HANA database, that cluster table will become transparent table and you will get error. Your code will give error after migration. This is just an example. Similarly, all our row store tables are converted into columnar tables. So this kind of errors we get. So first we need to do the syntax check. First we need to perform the syntax check. As an ABAPer, we should check the syntax check, then code inspector check, and we should make sure our code is compatible with HANA database. We will discuss in the coming slides the best practices and guidelines and all. Then what is the job of functional consultant? Functional consultants, they do testing of all objects including standard and custom. Even in the standard also, sometimes the performance is degraded in case if they use rows to tables. Sometimes performance is degraded. Then we should find out a SAP note. In case if there is no SAP note, even we should reach out to SAP by mentioning this issue. So this is what actually the job of ABAPers and functional consultants in HANA migration. But now we will see what is done as an ABAPer in HANA migration and what are the best practices or what are the recommendations to do in HANA migration. But is it clear whatever we discussed here? Any questions? Okay, I'm assuming it is clear. Okay, these are the 5 performance guidelines to be done. But these guidelines are not only for ABAP and HANA, not only for HANA database. These are the guidelines for any database. So the first one is keep the result set small. It means that do not retrieve rows from the database and discard them on the application server using check or exit. It means that for example, if you want to display Indian customers in ALV output, if you want to display Indian customers in the ALV output, don't read all the customers from database and maybe using loop or check. Don't filter them. Don't filter them in the application server. Whatever is needed, read the data. If you want to display Indian customers in ALV report, only select Indian customers and show them in the output. Another thing is minimize amount of transfer data. Let's say if you want to display only 3 columns in the output, don't write select star, select all the field names. If you want to show only 3 fields in the output, why do we need to select all the columns? And also use aggregate functions like count, minimum, maximum, sum, average instead of transforming all the rows to the application server. For example, if you want to find out the sum, use select sum aggregation function instead of selecting all the data to the application server and by looping and by finding the sum. Because if you select any questions, yeah, any questions, someone is in unmute. So if you want to find the sum of sales orders or something, don't select all the sales orders to the ABAP layer and find the sum using loop or something else. Use aggregation function. And another guideline is minimize the number of data transfer. Instead of writing multiple selects, use inner join and avoid the selects and insert updates inside the loops, all these things. And also minimize the search overhead. Use secondary indexes and all whenever we read the data based on the non-key fields. And also keep the load away from the database. Don't read the same data again and again. Use the buffering concept in ABAP, in S11, and also sort data wherever is needed. So these are the 5 performance guidelines we should use in ABAP. We need to understand migration to SAP HANA is just a database migration and everything works as before except native SQL. Native SQL means between exec and exec. For example, if the database is MS SQL is written. If the database is Oracle SQL is written. Similarly, if something is written in native SQL and also database specific queries, these things should be changed when we do HANA migration, because if you do HANA migration, definitely before whatever native SQL is there, DB specific hints were there, they do not work. They do not work. Definitely, those should be changed to HANA SQL or something. And also, usually we think that whenever we select data, we usually think that select statement gives the data in order by doing the order. Usually we are in commonly held view that select statement gives the data in sorting order, but actually it's not correct. If you want the data in a sorting order, we should explicitly mention order by statement. And wherever is needed, write binary search and order by statements. We should write these things. But this is not only HANA related, whatever we are discussing. Even in normal databases also, non-HANA databases also, whenever we have select single statement, we should mention all the key fields in the where condition. If we write select single, it is recommended to mention all the key fields in the where condition. If you don't write all the key fields in the where condition, it picks the record randomly. It picks any record randomly and it will display. This we already discussed. Yeah, which we were talking native SQL. Usually it is written like this between exec SQL and end exec. We can write the native SQL. If the database is Oracle, even in ABAP program or anywhere, you can write between exec and end exec. You can write the native SQL. If the database is Oracle, you can write Oracle SQL. If the database is DB2, we can write a DB2 SQL. All these things we can do. But in those cases, when we do migration to HANA, that SQL doesn't work because that SQL was related to that old database. So either you should convert into HANA SQL or OpenSQL. So it is always recommended OpenSQL. So most of the cluster and pool tables, most cluster and pool tables were migrated to transparent tables. Let's say BSEC table and all converted into transparent table. That's the reason whenever you should check the code check, because before they were cluster tables, it was used export import. Now they do not work because of transparent tables. So we should check the code check and we should convert the code accordingly. And also when we create any tables, it is not allowed to create cluster and pool tables in HANA. Don't create PC tables in future. And also it is not recommended to use for all entries in HANA. It is recommended to use inner join. It is not recommended to use for all entries in HANA, and it is recommended to use inner join. Don't use for all entries. We already discussed this. If you have select star, don't write instead of that even there are 100 columns or 200 columns. It is always recommended to write all the columns. All the columns. Do not write too many database accesses between loop and loop. If you have insert, modify, select, don't write all these things between loop and end loop. Anyway, this we will discuss at the rate data statements and all. And CDS views anyway, these are discussed during ABAP and HANA. And even S4 HANA also it is discussed during ABAP and HANA. So this is what about HANA migration. Is it clear? Any questions in HANA migration? Now I'm going to explain new OpenSQL. Is it clear or any questions?
So migration procedure won't be changed, right, sir, from ABAP to ABAP and HANA, like we will use SPAU, SPTT only, right?
Yeah, that is for any upgradation project we use. SPAU, SPAD, that is for upgradations. Once your upgradation is done, this is just database migration. For this, you don't do any SPAU activities much. Just
Okay.
HANA admins or basis guys migrate your database. That SPAU activities are related to your upgradations. When you upgrade your SAP version from 4.7C to ECC5 or ECC5 to ECC6 or EHP6 to EHP7, that time we do that. That is called upgradation, upgrading your versions. While upgrading, there may be some mismatches in the new version and old version, so you should take a call in SPAU. But this is database migration. It's completely admins and basis guys will do that. Only as an
Suppose
ABAPer, only as an
suppose if our
ABAPer.
system, sorry, suppose if our system is ECC 6.0 with EHP7, ABAP role is won't be required more. You mean to say, HANA admin will take care.
No, no. Whether it is, I'm talking about if you want to do HANA migration, your system should be ECC6 EHP7. Otherwise, we can't migrate to HANA database.
Okay.
If it is other than ECC6 EHP7, yes, we should upgrade to ECC6 EHP7 like other upgradations. Okay. I'm talking about once it is migrated to HANA database, yes, ABAPer should check all the custom code. They should check all the custom code syntax checks because there is a possibility of syntax errors. Like we discussed before, HANA, BSEG is a cluster table. Once we migrated, it is a transparent table. So you should check that code and all, and you should change accordingly. And also, before HANA, select star is fine, but now select star is expensive. And also, you should do some code inspector checks, and you should convert your code according to HANA compatibility by doing code inspector checks or by seeing the guidelines which I have explained. So using those guidelines or using the syntax check and code inspector check, ABAPer should do these things. Is it clear?
Clear. Thank you.
Any more questions? At least is it clear? Okay, so I will start new OpenSQL now. I start it now, but tomorrow also I will explain this. Okay, but actually I have some, I need to rush for some reasons. I just explain whatever in this document and I will close for today, and tomorrow I will explain in another document. Anyway, all these documents are available at you, and also I am sharing again. Okay, let me go to some system and show you. For example, it's not only in HANA database, even if you have NetWeaver or ABAP 7.4 versions. Usually, I'm just showing if you want to, you will do like this, type table of KNA1. I'm just writing these statements. Whenever you write select single, you should have where condition, otherwise it will not give exact data. Look at these statements. If you look at these statements, so if I comment this, it will not work. It will give errors like this. But in NetWeaver ABAP 7.4 version, from NetWeaver ABAP 7.4 version, you no need to declare internal tables and all. So you can write like into table at the rate data. Whenever we do this, here if you write table, it means internal table. At the rate data, whatever name you have given here, with that name, it automatically declares. Here also, I'm not putting table, so it's into at the rate data, so it's declares work area. Let me do this and activate and show you. Now you can look at TTKNA1 is there, automatically declared, and you can also see the data. At the same time, work area KNA1, you can see the data. So these are also called inline declarations and all. Not only this, anything. For example, if you have types, begin of TY data, Kunnar type Kunnar. Let's say if we have like this, select. Usually we do like this. From KNA1 into table TT data. Now if you convert this into OpenSQL, if I comment this, of course it will give error. But in new OpenSQL, you have select Kunnar, comma land one, comma name one from KNA1 into. But you just write comma. You just write comma. That's it. But here you write into table @ data. In the bracket you will write. Yeah, here I have to comment. So only thing is when you write, should write comma. Okay, @ data automatically declared. How automatically declared? Actually, based on your selection of columns. Based on your selection of columns, our internal table is automatically declared. So is it clear, everyone, about this inline statements? Any questions? Can I get response in the chat box? Someone is asking, can we get example about standard PO and custom program migration? See, migration in the sense you should have system migration, right? Those things we cannot do here. How can I do migration, right? Even you go for basis classes and HANA admin classes, they don't do migrations and show you. Okay. So even in real time also you don't do anything. Only thing is once migration is done, you just check your code, that's it. Whether it is, if it is a data, you don't think about data and all, only you think about code. Okay, let me show you some other new OpenSQL. You can also look at this document, but tomorrow I will also send you some new documents and I will also show you some other new things. Let me also explain this. Yeah, while copying or else I can do like. Okay, for example, if you look at this statement, right, usually we are selecting these columns from yes book table, but the note field is not in S book table. Even it is there or even it is not there, because you can write any field name, any name here. This column is not in S book table, but this column should be decided based on luggage weight which is in S book table. If luggage weight greater than 30, then you should pass heavy luggage, otherwise you should display like note. If luggage weight greater than 30, then you have to display heavy luggage. For that, see, you just added this. Rest all you already know. Case and as what column you are expecting. Case and as what column you are expecting. And here when luggage weight greater than 30, then what do you want to display there? Usually if you want to write this logic in ABAP, you should write lot of code, correct? You select declare internal table, select everything into that internal table. Then you have to declare another internal table, then loop at, if it is greater than 30, then append or modify, correct? But here with this one line statement, you are able to achieve this. Simple case when condition end, case end as the column. I don't know whether we have data or not, but I can show you what is happening in the LT result. See, we have data. Heavy luggage. This is not in database, right? Luggage weight greater than 30. See, all are 30, so heavy luggage, heavy luggage. See, so I will also explain some more things tomorrow. You can also go through this document, okay? So let me tell you, tomorrow we are going to complete this new OpenSQL, and from day after tomorrow, if someone is asking how to store long text in tables, okay, that you can see SOST and all, right? SO10 and all you can use. You can use some function modules and you can store in SO10. But it's not relevant to us. So tomorrow we will complete new OpenSQL. Then Thursday, Friday, also Saturday, maybe it's a demo or backup, and from Monday we will start ABAP on HANA. Or ABAP on S4 HANA. So whoever already attended these, they will not get link, but if they want, if you send me, then I will send the link. But Viasys will send first 1 week. Okay, these are the topics will be completed. After this again, you know, catalog, HANA SQL, data provisioning, HANA modeling, HANA migration, new open, same topics. Okay, so tomorrow we will have the class and we will complete new OpenSQL. Okay, Thursday, Friday, we have the demo or backup class, and from next week Monday we will start ABAP on HANA. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. We will meet tomorrow.